What's going on there, everyone? Well, this is a story that I pert near forgot about because, like probably most of you, whenever we see a politician go down for something, we that's usually the end of it. We don't get investigations, we don't get this, that, and the other. They usually get a slap on the wrist or a stern lecture, and go about their business, making money somehow, talking to people usually. But in this situation, the feds are actually doing something about it. So, let's get into the story. For Fox News, ex-Baltimore Mayor Catherine Pugh indicted on federal charges related to self-published children's books. Now, before we get too far into the story, I'm just going to say, with this list of charges that she's being charged with, she could face the rest of her life in prison. So, let's get to it. Former Baltimore Mayor Catherine Pugh is facing federal charges related to what prosecutors say was a plot to enrich herself through sales of her self-published children's book series, according to the grand jury indictment made public Wednesday. Pugh, 69, is expected to self-surrender to the U.S. Marshals Thursday before a court appearance before the U.S. District Judge Deborah K. Chasenow, according to a news release. The former mayor, who resigned her post in May amid the book sales controversy, is charged with conspiracy to commit wire fraud, 7 counts of wire fraud, conspiracy to defraud the United States, and 2 counts of tax evasion. The indictment was returned November 14th. That's a lot of charges. That is a whole lot of charges. I mean, just, whew. Some of these charges can be hard to prove, but with so many counts of wire fraud and everything, I think they got all the information they really needed. I think they got the information they needed because they usually wouldn't throw the book, and that's kind of a book throwing if I've ever seen one. Prosecutors say Pugh, who became Baltimore's 50th mayor December 6, 2016, used her Healthy Holly book series in order to fund her lifestyle in addition to her political campaign and political interest. She allegedly bought a house and paid down her personal debt with the profits, according to the Baltimore Sun. The book scheme allegedly involved Pugh failing to print thousands of copies or double-selling titles in the series, the Sun reported. Prosecutors also allege Pugh listed her 2016 income as $31,000 when it actually exceeds $322,000. That's where she really screwed up. So we all know the government and taxes. When you try to evade your taxes, the government doesn't like that because the government's greedy. Very, very greedy when it comes to taxes. They want all the money. It's crazy. I will say, the Republicans generally try to reduce taxes as a whole for everybody. But Democrats, who constantly want to raise taxes to pay for, to make you, a working class person or whatever, pay for all the people that don't want to work just because they don't want to, which is crazy. But they don't even pay their own taxes? Come on now. Or they sit there and hide large sums of money for they want to pay the taxes on it? That's not very nice now, is it? We have to abide by the laws, and we're just regular citizens. You, as a government official, I would expect for you to be held under tougher scrutiny when it comes to obeying the laws. But we don't ever see that. In April, Pugh announced she was taking an indefinite leave of absence after she had been advised by her physicians that she needs to take time to recover and focus on her health. She said she felt like she wasn't able to fulfill her obligations as mayor because of her deteriorating health brought on by a recent case of pneumonia. Or she realized she was being watched and got really nervous and scared and said, with this position, I am way too out there in the public. Let me resign and hope we can sweep this under the rug, is what I'm thinking. Ultimately, Pugh resigned amid state and federal investigations about her book series and apologized for the harm that I have caused to the image of the city of Baltimore and to the credibility of the office of mayor. I don't think there's not much credibility in the office of mayor of Baltimore, period, for decades. I mean, look at how Baltimore has slowly gone downhill. And, there's no reason for it. Baltimore is a fairly wealthy city. There's no reason that the people and, citizens living there should be living in squalor and all this stuff. They don't have teams that are city employees or anything going through and proactively cleaning these areas up and all that stuff. I mean, there were piles of trash. Who were the first people that really came in and did a major cleanup? It was a conservative activist group. Yeah. Those people that the left always deems racist, this, that, and the other. They tried to call them, or the guy who, the guy who did, or God damn, what's the word I'm looking for? Organized. There we go. Simple word. The guy who organized these things, they tried to paint him as a white nationalist and all this, that, and the other, and try to defame him immediately, like the day of them cleaning up a big section of area in Baltimore. This guy's an openly gay conservative, and he's just trying to help the people, and the media and the leftists are all just crapping on him for it. Because, they don't like seeing Republicans do proactive things, because they know themselves as leftists are not going to do those things. They're just going to protest and make scenes about what they want done, but they don't actually do anything positive. It's like all these climate hippies running around screaming about this, that, and the other, but what are they doing proactively? Go plant some trees. Go to a watershed, clean it up. Clean up the trash. Go to a river. Clean up the trash around it. Do something proactive. Instead of yelling at everyone else to do something while you don't do anything but yell about everyone else trying to do something. Come on. I digress. Pugh was the third Baltimore mayor to face sustained calls to resign. Bernard Jack Young took her place. Former Baltimore city employees Gary Brown Jr. and Rosalind Weddington pled guilty to related charges. It was also revealed Wednesday. Well, I mean, it's looking like this woman, she screwed herself pretty good. Like I said, she's facing conspiracy to commit wire fraud, 7 counts of wire fraud, conspiracy to defraud the United States, which that one's a big one. That one's a real big one. And 2 counts of tax evasion. Counts of tax evasion, should probably end up having to pay a hefty fine. Something like that. Conspiracy to defraud the United States, I don't even know what that charge carries. I mean, that's kind of something I don't hear much. 7 counts of wire fraud, that right there is probably enough to put her in prison for over 10 years. Man, this woman, she's probably looking at the rest of her life in prison if she is convicted on all charges. I hate seeing people get locked in a cell. I do not care for that much at all. But we have to do something, We have to make examples of these people. We have to. Whether it would be her, a Democrat, or any Republican in office to do something like this, they need to be held accountable. These are members of the government. We can't have our government people just willy-nilly going around and doing stuff that would put us in prison for the rest of our lives. Come on. We got to start holding these people accountable as if they're just normal people that committed these crimes. They always get away with it because of their political backgrounds and stuff like that. And it's disgusting. They are not above the law. They're not above the citizens. They need to be treated as such. But we'll see what happens. This is going to be an interesting case. It's going to be very interesting. I can't wait to see the defense in this one. But I will keep y'all up to date as much as possible on this case. And we'll see where it goes from here. But as for now, not looking good for Catherine Pugh. Not looking good at all. But the people of Baltimore keep voting in these crooked Democrats. You just got to stop doing it. I know you've been brainwashed into thinking that the Democrats are the only people you can vote for, but it's just not true. It's just not true. The Republican Party, we are an open party. We allow anybody to join the party if you hold the same values and stuff as we do. It doesn't matter if you're white, black, brown, Asian. It just doesn't matter. Gay, straight, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The Conservative Party is changing, much to the chagrin of the old neocons and stuff like that. The Conservative Party is changing. We're becoming better. We're becoming a more inclusive branch, and it's really working out. It's working out, and I think slowly over time, when people start to see things more for themselves and stop just listening to other people's opinions and taking them as fact, I think when people start to do the research and start to actually open their eyes, that they're going to see that the Republican Party is not the bad party. I'm going to stop there. I'm going to leave it there because I could rant about this forever. But love to hear your comments on this, and as always, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the flip side.